You don't need I'm doing this my way.
He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of Item. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of Item.
What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and today, Damwon Gaming lost to Nongshim, and this was making me think about, should I have seen something like that as a possibility? And I think that if I'm being honest with myself, a lot of the ways to get to that point are kind of thin, and like you're not gonna bet $100 on Nongshim to beat Damwon because you think that Kana is better than Hoya. But at the same time, when I was thinking about recording this video, the thought did cross my mind, like if I say to myself that one team definitely has an advantage in one of the lanes, does that mean I should give them more of a realistic chance of winning? And I don't know what the answer is to that question, but I'm pretty sure I said that Kana was better than Hoya yesterday because I think that Kana's one of the best top laners, if not the best top laner in the world. I don't think that Dread is better than Canyon, but like junglers can get pulled in so many different directions depending on draft and talent in their solo lanes. So then you go to the mid lane, you say, well, is BDD better than Showmaker? The answer is no. But there are matchups where BDD, who is a quality player, can beat Showmaker because of a draft. And then the bot lane, it's Deokdam and Kellen against Ghost and Peter. Do I think that either side has a gigantic advantage? Not really. I do prefer Deokdam and Kellen because I think they're more likely to play a hard carry style. And I think I just like Deokdam more than Ghost in general. But if your top laner is going to create that much of an advantage in the top lane with Kana playing Gnar against Hoya on Gragas, then it really starts to warp the game because Canyon's not going to be able to salvage top lane. And with a relatively high variance team composition from Damwon, like what kind of comeback mechanics do you really have? And that's another reason why we talk about preferred styles in League of Legends, where I prefer the late game style because you would have had a better better quote unquote outs, where it's like, okay, well, we lost the early game, Hoya's really far behind, but we still have a huge scaling advantage. They didn't have that against Nongshim. So I guess that's just another thing to consider in the future. So I guess the two things are, how many lanes do you need to have an advantage in to feel good about picking an underdog? And then what percentage of the time do I think that a team plays towards like a late game draft versus an early mid game draft? So I guess those are some things you could try to think about on your own. So yesterday I made 10 lineups like I said I was going to. I played a lot of KT yesterday because I was thinking to myself, I was thinking about Hanwha Life and how they were kind of big, gave up a lot of kills in a few of their matches. Like in their Nongshim match, I think they had 29 deaths in the first game. They ended up winning that series, but giving up 29 kills in one game is a little extreme. It doesn't really say much about the team outside of the fact they're willing to fight you from a losing position, which is good for DraftKings. The winning lineup last night was an LNG Nongshim stack. So this was a 4-3 that included the team slot. So I mean, picking Nongshim for the upset, I mean, yeah, you can do that. Is it going to pay off most of the time? No, but when it hits, it hits. My best lineup yesterday had Arya, Zoom, Tarzan, Doinb, Aiming, Life, and KT Rolster's team slot. The way that I got to this kind of lineup, which is probably similar to how the person who came in first place was thinking about their lineups, is you want a lineup that isn't going to be duplicated like a bunch of times, including a player from a third team, decreases the chances of having a duplicate. So I started off with a 4-3 KT LNG stack. Ale didn't fit into the top lane position, so then you pivot down to the next closest one that fits, and that was Zoom. And I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good idea for a lineup, a concept for a lineup, because if Top Esports is able to go 2-0, they're going to get the game not played bonuses from top lane, and that's going to be beneficial for scoring because you get the game not played bonus is generally better than a loss. But that's it for DraftKings, really. I mean, I had a lot of KT. I did have a decent amount of Damwon as well. They were not very expensive, so I tried to get them into my lineups where I could. But that's it for that. So let's talk about tomorrow's matches. Actually, I can say one more thing. So Top Esports against World Elite. Top Esports won. I picked Top Esports. LNG against Invictus Gaming. I picked LNG. LNG won. They actually did lose a game to Invictus, but that's fine. Damwon lost to Nongshim. I was on the Damwon side. And then KT against Hanwha Life. I had KT. And that's really the opinion that changed the most after the video yesterday. Because I kept thinking to myself, is Hanwha Life really close to KT Rolster? Like, I know that they beat... I know that they had an upset. But should that really change my opinion of them that much? And I ended up thinking to myself, no, because KT has had some tough matchups and has still looked okay. So like losing to Damwon, you're not going to downgrade them. Beating Kwangdong, you're not really going to upgrade them, but it's whatever. And then Hanwha Life beating Nongshim. If Hanwha Life beats Nongshim, and it's more of like if it's a big upset, you can think to yourself, oh, well, they must be a lot better than we thought they were. But it's not really necessarily true, and people having that good feeling about Hanwha Life upsetting Nongshim could inflate ownership when it really shouldn't, or if it doesn't justify the type of increase in ownership that we'd expect to see. Because this was one of the closer matchups, and in Discord, I basically said, like, I think a lot of people are going to try to play I said okay. I said another night of favorites. My favorite dog is Invictus Gaming by a considerable amount. I think a lot of people will play Hanwha Life to fit into teams, but I don't think it's worth it. And then that's basically that. So let's look at tomorrow. Do I have the odds for tomorrow? I think I did them while I was at work. I guess I didn't. Sometimes it doesn't update. That's weird. Let me just get that. LCK, LPL. So in the LPL, we have Rare Atom as slight favorites over V5. And we have Bilibili Gaming as somewhat decent favorites over OMG. Then we have T1 and DRX. T1 is a minus 666 favorite over DRX, and then we have Genji as a 688 favorite. DRX Bro, Genji 478. Nope. 478 and 465. That should not be a color yet. Okay, so let's go lane by lane. So Zeus against Kingen. Zeus has not looked great so far, so I don't think there's a huge advantage either way. In terms of pedigree, not maybe pedigree is not the right word, but in terms of like class, like people want. I think the people that you get information from behind the scenes who talk to the casters and say, you know, we think that this player is going to be very good long term. That consortium, if you will, thinks that Zeus is going to be a very good player. That, plus the fact they play for T1, makes me believe in them as a player long term. So I do think that there is some reason to think that Zeus should have an advantage against Kingen. We haven't seen it yet. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Owner against Pyosik. I think that Pyosik's the better player today. I don't know if that's going to be a long-term thing, but when DRX brought up Pyosik, they had like an extremely good team. So I think that we can believe in Pyosik's talent. This is a tough spot, but I believe in DRX long-term. Faker against Zika, same thing. Zika is a very highly thought of mid-lane prospect. Gumayusi against Deft. Deft has had a better career, but Gumayusi looks like that's kind of his career arc, is that he's going to be one of the better AD carries in Korea, which means one of the best in the world, most likely. And then we have Keria against Beryl. Keria, in my opinion, is the best support in the world already. Beryl is a very good support. This will come, and I think a lot of the times when T1 played against Damwon, I think Beryl does a good job against Keria in general. I know it has a lot to do with the rest of the team as well, but that's a close one. So I think that in the top lane, it's close. If you said, I think that Zeus is a better player because pedigree and class and all that stuff, I would probably agree with you. Owner against Pyosik. I think I still have to give the edge to Pyosik, which is important. Faker against Zika. You definitely have to give the edge to Faker, but Zika is someone that I believe in as well. Gumayusi and Keria against Deft and Beryl. I think that Deft and Beryl will probably have to play the passive side of most of these matchups in the bot lane, which isn't really a problem. It just scares me, like, is it going to be a low kill score game? Because I think DRX probably believes that they can win this match. I don't know if they think to themselves, we need to make it bloody, or if we need to make it low kill score. Probably low kill score. Rare Atom against V5. I guess I didn't really go through yesterday's scoreboards. Oh well, we'll keep going. Cube against Rich. Rich is getting the start tonight. Actually, let's do the second LCK match. Doran against Morgan. They're both okay top laners. I think that Doran has a slight advantage in terms of consistency. I do believe that Morgan has good upside. Peanut against Umti. Give me Peanut every time. Chovy against Lava. Chovy. Ruler and Lehens against anybody. I'm going to take Ruler and Lehens. Don't need to think about that one. That's a Gen G. In Rare Atom against V5, we have Cube against Rich. I don't think there's a big difference there. Rich probably has the bigger name at this point because he was a former Dota Pro? Heroes of the Storm Pro? I think Heroes of the Storm Pro. And he is respected in Korea. So I think that probably transfers over to China pretty easily. Leon against Karsa. I prefer Karsa. Rookie against Strive. I prefer Rookie. Photic and PP God against iBoy and Zora. Probably have to give that slightly to Rare Atom. What were the odds there? Rare Atom as a favorite. I think I'll take the dogs in that one. And then BLG against OMG. So Breathe against Shanji. Breathe is a very good top laner. You have to give the edge to Breathe. Wei Wei against Aki. I think that it's pretty close. Maybe slightly Wei Wei favored. Cream against Fofo. I prefer Cream. And then Doggo and Crisp against Abel and Cold. I most likely prefer BLG there as well. I get why the line is minus 189. This is a closer match than minus 189. I think that Cream can beat Fofo. I think Shanji. This is going to be a huge test for Shanji. If this is a close match and OMG is able to take a game, I think that we'll feel much better about playing OMG in the future. I don't know if it really justifies picking them to win the match, but it's a very interesting match. It's going to have big implications for the rest of the season, in my opinion. I think that it'll also be important to see how Abel and Cold hold up against Doggo and Crisp. So this is a matchup that I'm very interested in watching, and I am excited by. Haha. So that's it. Let's take one of these teams and use the sheet. The rosters are messed up. God. That one's right. Doran, Peanut, Chovy. Let me try see if I can do this real quick. Who is the team that was messed up? BLG. So we have Breathe. Wait. Fofo. Crisp. No. Doggo and Crisp. And then for Rare Atom, Cube, Leon, Strive, Zora, V5, Rich, Karsa, Rookie, Fodic, PP. I think this is probably Morgan. Okay. So we have, let's just pick the two teams. Let's play Genji because Genji's a huge favorite in my mind. And then let's see how they pair up with the different teams. So Genji with T1, you are not going to be able to get many good lineups. Genji with Billy Gaming, not going to get many good lineups with like the traditional stack. So AD carry captain, mid captain, jungle captain. Genji with Rare Atom, you start getting close. So this is where you start moving around the tertiary team. So if you project an upset, like a huge upset or something, then you can start getting combinations if DRX pulls off the upset. Then you go Rare Atom to V5, and once you do that, you can go back up to there. So there are a bunch of combinations of Genji and V5 that work, and that's not really the matchup you want to get the other team from, though. So I would do Genji. I probably want OMG. So these are some interesting looking teams, if you ask me. This is messed up, I guess, but I gotta fix that. This is all working though. So you scroll down, you see, okay, there are 4 different lineups that work with like traditional stacks. Then you do 3-4s, which are semi-traditional. Then you do 4-3s with the team slot, and this is what won last night. So if you like want to chase what happened yesterday, you'd play all 6 of these, and those types of lineups. Then you start circulating in the third team. So you have T1 team slot where maybe DRX throws up another stinker, but it's a low kill score game. You can still get a different type lineup by getting them into your team. Then if you want mid lane, if you want to get Chovy and Cream into the same lineup, that could be very interesting. But not all of them fit. So this is another thing that I like to look for. So if you get Chovy, Doran, Peanut, Cream, Abel, Lehens, and OMG, so like when you have your primary stack, a lot of the time you want the mid laner and the AD carry from your team. So this one gets rid of Ruler. Ruler is one of the highest, I would think has a very high kill participation. So it's going to feel bad to leave him out, but that's why you make that kind of lineup. If for some fluke reason Abel outscores Ruler by a considerable amount, but Genji still is the best primary stack, then that type of lineup can win a tournament. So that's kind of another peek into how I look at some of these lineups. And I did this a few nights ago, which is when I won the $3,000. So I do this every once in a while. When I say I need to go look at the sheet, that's what I mean. This is the sheet. So that's basically it. don't really have anything else for you today. Some good matches. I'm excited to watch T1 against DRX. I think that Gen G against Fred Brion is going to be boring. I think BLG against OMG is going to be a very good match, and then Rare Atom versus V5 is going to tell us a decent amount about both teams. If V5 loses to Rare Atom, then I will personally feel like I have a good chance of winning with V5 later and fading Rare Atom later, because that's just my natural inclination with those two teams. But that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.